Why are imaginative people considered dangerous? Creative people are dangerous because they imagine alternatives. Powers fear people who imagine differently because established powers benefit from the way things are. I was going to do another video for this week, but we just finished watching Dragon, the Bruce Lee story. It's a 1993 film, and it was such a beautiful film. If you haven't seen it before, it's a Bruce Lee biopic that actually deals with very similar things I question in my work. And I'm looking at it from a different perspective for this particular body of work that I'm working on. It's a thought process that I've been questioning since I was about 19 years old. A little before, but it kind of solidified when I was 19. And there's a line in this movie that I really love. You can respect tradition without being a slave to it. And by respecting tradition without being a slave to it, you ask questions, why? Why everything? My next week's video is going to be how I deconstructed from religious indoctrination and how it shaped my life. It's been almost 22 years for me since I've started questioning everything, and I deconstructed from just about every aspect of how I was raised and what it means to be an artist, not even in a physical form, but what it is to live life in an artistic way. I don't think it's a compartmentalized thing. I think it's a holistic approach to life as an artist and life as a human being. That will be a video for next week. But this week I wanted to talk about the way we imagine futures. We cannot imagine a different world with the same mentality that created this world to begin with. I find it comforting, questioning and not knowing. And I'm not even done. I feel like I'm just getting started to really go deep down into asking questions of why we live the way we live today and the whole human condition. I've made a video before of everything I know today and how I live my life is by observing nature. And I wholeheartedly believe that we do not need a guru, we do not need a teacher. If we pay attention and truly observe without any level of conditioning, we can deconstruct from just about everything, and we can truly envision a world that we want to live in. It can mean questioning what you believe in, questioning how you eat, how you live, why the things are the way they are, and our system are conditioned to us fearing the other. It's the reason I stopped eating meat about 22 years ago. It wasn't an exact date, but it's the way I stopped believing in an organized religion about 22 years now. I will go into depth into next week's video about that. Through the process of deconstructing, you will be creating. And I see life as water. And when Bruce Lee says, be like water, it's exactly what my show is about. The landscapes that we carry within us through patterned ways of thinking, patterned traditions, and how do we evolve past that? Because culture is fluid. It is never stagnant. Culture happens when we exchange different ideas with different people, when we get exposed to those who think differently than us. And I really view the world like that. And this is why, one of the main reasons why I believe that we live in a second renaissance is because technology has given us a window into the way that other people live their lives without any middleman. Whereas before, the systems told you what to think and they guided you what to think about a certain culture and a certain way of thinking. This is good, this is bad, this is demonic, or this is holy. It is a means of controlling the masses because it fears biodiversity. But I look at soil, and the more biodiverse the soil is, the stronger the plants, and it creates an ecosystem that is more resilient. And I think, especially in America, I came here as a religious refugee when I was 9 years old with my parents, and I look at America as it has the most biodiversity of all cultures. And in that cultural biodiversity exchange, we can build something unprecedented. We can build a truly equitable system of belonging, respecting each other's differences without being homogenous. The system wants us to be homogenous. They don't want us to have a creative view of or imaginative view of how we can live differently. It wants us to be yes men who are just part of the industrialization, that you are just a factory worker that gets their check mark by following orders. So if the system is against creativity, what do we do? No one is going to give us permission to be creative. We need to give that permission to ourselves. The system does not want us to be the best version of ourselves. Why? Because the system fears people who dream, and creativity thrives in openness. This is why I think art is the most important vehicle for change, because when you view an artwork or listen to music or read a novel, it gives you a window to how somebody else lives, but also you will find a lot of similarities to how the humanness, the experience of being a human itself, regardless of culture, regardless of ethnicity and all of that, it's just made up. We are shaped by landscapes, by nature. We adapt to our climate and environment. We have been so conditioned to align our ideology with a symbol on a flag. And symbols have so much resonance to us because we take that as part of ourselves instead of viewing humanity as a whole. We are all just drops in the big ocean and part of life, the flow of life. And that's why continuously changing. And that's why the more flexible you are, the better you will survive the waters of life. My take is you learn how to cruise the water, and sometimes people are in their yachts on water, sometimes people are on their rowboat, sometimes people are on a raft, and others swim. But we're all flowing, constantly changing, constantly being exposed to different things, different people, different ideas, and instead of fearing them, we ask questions, we learn from them. We can also choose what we like and what we don't like. Just because something is tradition does not make it good. There have been a tradition where you drill holes in your brain for migraines. It was an accepted practice at one point. Bloodletting, leeches, all of those things that we have now known better. And I have a really hard time understanding why people hold on to things from before just because it was from before. We romanticize the past in a way to hold on to something, to an idea of something that is better than now, instead of learning how to navigate the waters, learning how to swim with the current. And it happens in every culture. Like in Bruce Lee's film, when he created Jeet Kune Do, and all of the other martial arts teachers told him, you cannot teach it to white people or black people. It was a defense mechanism because it's fear of somebody stealing from your culture, or they will not understand. It's creating that barrier instead of openness. Within that openness, we can have a real cultural exchange, and that's what generates new culture. And it creates this biodiverse soil that we can all be stronger as humanity without these divisions. Imagine this world, we draw an arbitrary line and say, oh, now this is this country, this is this country. And it happens in large global scale and in small things like families, that you no longer belong because you think differently. But it's in the constant questioning is how we move the culture forward and not backwards. So my invitation is to just start. Even if it's messy, even if it's no one's watching, start questioning, start creating, start imagining a different way of being. Even when we don't have all the answers, we can observe without any attachment and know if something is wrong or right without conditioning, especially when the systems are telling us this is wrong, this is right. This is how I try to navigate my art practice. I understand the rules that the current art systems have established, and I also know that they are all made up. Question everything, and we have the freedom to do so. I feel almost guilty not to do that. It just does not align with my being. After my deconstruction, I started questioning everything, and it propelled and changed my life in such an enormous way. Creativity is rebellion, and this level of rebellion might be the way we come back to humanity. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next week.